Today we're taking a look at our Mitsubishi installation. We just completed it. We're doing the final adjustments today, but we have a 4-ton cold climate heat pump, a Mitsubishi Smart Multi. Mitsubishi calls it hyper heat, but all that means is it's cold climate, meaning that this unit can produce efficient heating down to minus 13 degrees outdoor temperatures. So we have a MXZ SM48 hyper heat. It's a 4-ton unit, and we have a branch box. So this is connected to 4 indoor units. So we have our 1 outdoor unit connected to 4 individual zones inside the home. We see our couple lines. So one line, this one over here, it's going all the way here through the laundry room, and that one is connected to a gas furnace connected to the main ductwork from the home. So we kept the existing gas furnace. It was a brand new furnace. Main issue in this home is the ductwork was pretty poorly designed and undersized, so multiple parts of the home didn't get proper comfort. So this one line connects to a IntelliHeat coil from Mitsubishi, which is a hybrid coil connected to the existing gas furnace, and that's going to be providing heat pump heating and cooling through that coil. All the furnace has to do is run the blower. The furnace will be utilized only for backup during extremely cold weather. Then we have our second line going up here to the attic. And in the attic, we have a compact horizontal ducted unit. It's a Mitsubishi PE80. And that unit, it's completely zoning the second floor. What we did is we closed most of the ductwork that comes from the furnace upstairs. It can be open for backup when it's extremely cold, but for the most part, all the vents coming from the main furnace are going to be closed. And our unit in the attic is going to be doing most of the heating and cooling, giving the second floor customizable zone heating and cooling year round. And then we have 2 more lines. So one's going right here. That's the kitchen. They have a small dining room. And we have a ductless unit in there. The kitchen was always freezing in the winter, hot in the summer. The airflow coming from the main furnace into the kitchen was extremely poor due to undersized ductwork. So we'll take a look inside in a minute, but we have a ceiling cassette connected to the kitchen. And then our last 4th indoor unit is this line over here that's wrapping around. We'll take a look on the side. So it's going across and it's going right in there. Let's get a little closer. And we have a second ductless unit in the basement. The basement was always chilly in the winter. So now it's going to be perfectly comfortable. For this installation, we mounted the unit on the wall on brackets for a very clean look. Unit is running right now. It is extremely quiet. This unit has sound ratings of about 50 decibels. When it's running at full speed right now, it's obviously not running at full speed. It's only about 40 degrees outside here in Park Ridge, Illinois. So you can barely hear the unit running at lower speeds. Remember, this is a variable speed inverter unit, meaning that the compressor in this unit, unlike a conventional air conditioner, it can ramp up and down, providing multiple speeds of heating and cooling, anywhere from 20% to 100% in 1% increments, which means the unit is constantly monitoring outdoor temperature and indoor heating and cooling requirements on each zone and adjusting the speed and capacity so it's able to stay on for longer cycles, just using the right amount of heating and cooling, which provides super efficient and very stable, consistent, cozy temperatures. Very clean installation. This is called line height. So we put our nice line height covers for every single line for a clean look. And we're gonna go inside and we're gonna take a look at the 4 indoor units. We have our gas furnace with IntelliHeat coil, the air handler, and the 2 ductless units. And then we'll also take a look at how all this is controlled. So now we're taking a look at the basement. This is the main zone. So we have our refrigerant line coming from our outdoor unit. So it's connected to our new Mitsubishi IntelliHeat coil system. As I mentioned before, we kept the existing gas furnace. It's brand new. The main issue is that whomever installed this furnace is just way too big for the application. So it was short cycling, meaning it was turning on and off all the time because it's too powerful. So the temperature was very unstable. So we did keep the furnace. The oversize is not going to be such a big deal because now most of our heating is going to be done by our heat pump outside. So the way this works is instead of having to fire the furnace every time they need a little bit of heat, all the furnace will be doing is using the blower to push air across our IntelliHeat coil. And the outdoor unit, it's gonna be injecting hot refrigerant, warming up the coil, and all the furnace has to do is push air across the coil, pick up that heat, and send it through the home. In cooling mode, just like in air conditioning, the outdoor unit is gonna be cooling the coil, and the furnace pushes air across the cold coil. But the huge benefit of this system, especially in this application, is they're gonna have very stable, even heating through the entire zone. This furnace used to have ductwork for the entire house. What we did is we closed most of the vents upstairs and in the kitchen and in the basement. Each of those areas have their own unit, which we're gonna take a look at as well. So this furnace is really servicing a portion of the main level through the IntelliHeat coil. And it's using the inverter variable speed technology from the outdoor unit, meaning that it's gonna make precise adjustments in how much heating or cooling is putting out based on outdoor temperature and also user setting at the thermostat, resulting in very, very stable, even temperatures. Now, when it gets extremely cold outside, we're talking 0, -5, -10, the furnace can kick in as backup, and they still have the ductwork to the entire home, so if they get a polar vortex or a day that is extremely cold and the heat pump is not keeping up, which it might never happen because this heat pump is cold climate, meaning that it can produce efficient heating all the way down to -13 degrees outdoor temperature. But if they need it, they can always open the vents from the main system that go through the entire home and get the furnace to do backup. Or if the heat pump fails while it's being repaired, they have a backup source. On this install, we also added a high efficiency filter. It's a 5-inch thick filter, which is gonna allow better airflow because it has more surface area and also good air quality. We kept the existing humidifier, which is brand new, but we also added a whole house UV air purification system. It's called the APCO X. So this system has you don't see it because it's inside the ductwork, but it has a pretty long carbon filter. It's an activated carbon cell and an ultraviolet light. So the combination of the two absorb and destroy contaminants in the home. And of course, we have our Mitsubishi IntelliHeat control box. It's a 2-tone coil, PAA24. This is the brain of the system, what tells the system what to do, whether to use the heat pump, the furnace, at what speed, the air conditioner. Really nice installation, very clean setup. We're gonna go take a look at the rest of the indoor units. So here's the kitchen where we have our ceiling cassette. This is our Mitsubishi one-way ceiling cassette. It's flush to the ceiling, so it has a very nice design. So it has a return grill. This is where the air enters the unit to be heated and cooled. And here's our supply vane, which can move up and down and also horizontally to distribute the air through the living space. So we have our little living room attached to our kitchen. This was one of the rooms that had a very poor heating and cooling performance. Ductwork is not great in this home, so we added this unit. And then we have our refrigerant line, power and drain lines going across the ceiling, straight outside. And then you saw the lines at outside when we look at the unit. And then somewhere around there is the outdoor unit. Let's go take a look at the rest of the indoor units. Okay, now we're in the basement where we also have our ductless unit. So this is a high wall mount Mitsubishi. It's a deluxe series and it's currently running on the heating mode. Super quiet, you can barely feel the air coming. It's running at a low speed, which is always needed to keep up comfortable temperatures today. It's about 50 degrees outside. So the issue with this basement is obviously the ductwork is not great either. So it was always quite cool in the winter. So this ductless unit, it's a 9,000 BTU. It's gonna keep this entire basement comfortable year round. This particular unit, being the Deluxe series, has the 3D IC sensor. So what this sensor does is it has an invisible laser beam. It creates a profile of the room. It scans temperature signals in the entire surface area, and it can automatically adjust the flow of the air and the direction to improve performance. And the lines, the refrigerant lines going back outside under the deck. And as we looked outside, the outdoor unit is somewhere right there by the window, and the line is going outside, wrapping around and coming to the back of the unit. we're gonna take a look at the other two zones. So we're gonna go take a look at the furnace with the coil, and then we'll take a look at our ducted unit upstairs. Okay, so we are upstairs. We have our main return. So this is a new return that we added with our filter. This opens with hinges for easy filter replacement. And then we added a number of supplies. For the most part, one in each bedroom. So this is coming from the attic. The main issue up here was very poor comfort in the summer. The cooling never kept up. And in the winter, the temperatures were not even room to room. So we do have the ductwork that comes from the furnace downstairs, which we closed out. It can be used for backup, but for the most part, they're gonna be getting all the heating and cooling with the new ductwork coming from the attic. So every room has a couple vents. Here's the attic access. We're gonna take a look at the unit in just a second. The master bedroom has 3 new vents. This is the room with the most exterior exposure and also larger size. We also have one here in the bathroom. Then all of this is connected to our Mitsubishi PE80 horizontal ducted unit, which we're taking a look right now, with all new hard pipe custom made insulated ductwork. Gonna take a look at the ductwork in more detail. But this unit is connected to the same outdoor unit we took a look at, our heat pump outside. That's the 4-ton MXZ Smart unit, hyperheat or cold climate. So that outdoor unit has a refrigerant line coming from the outside. We see the line here right under the unit, and then it goes straight out to the outdoor unit, which is somewhere in the middle outside. So this is an air handler. It's called a horizontal compact air handler. So the way it works is it has a blower motor, of course, and a little coil. So the outdoor unit is going to be either heating or cooling this coil, giving the zone for the system upstairs all the heating and cooling it needs year round. We have all of our supplies fully insulated. Took about 3, 4, 5 days to install. It's a lot of work. Not super complicated, but it does take a little bit of time. Here we see where we have the vents going into each room. And this is our main return that's connected to the return grill that we just took a look at. So for equipment here we have a PE80 18. It's 18,000 BTUs. And there's our plenum box. We have our drain pan in case there's any leaks. And this is controlled by a new wireless thermostat for the upstairs. The huge benefit of being wireless, there's a thermostat, we haven't mounted it yet. But the huge benefit of being wireless is we don't have to cut walls, we don't need to run any wiring. We can place the thermostat wherever we choose, and it communicates with radio to the equipment. So it's not Wi-Fi, it's just wireless, meaning that no wiring. So very reliable connection. It's running right now. I'm holding it upside down. So we have it set at 72, 68 currently. Super quiet, you can barely hear the air moving over the return. And of course, we also have Wi-Fi, not on this thermostat, but with the Kumo Cloud accessory. We'll take a look at that on the phone app, where all the zones can be controlled remotely. So here's the Mitsubishi Kumo Cloud app connected to the 4 indoor units. We're back in the kitchen. So from the app, you can name all the zones. So in this case, we have 2nd floor, basement, family room, and main. And you can customize the temperature in the 4 zones. Right from here, for example, you go family room, we'll have all the control for the fan speed, heating or cooling, of course. And then this is also compatible with voice controls like Alexa or Google Voice.